here.
Thank you.
This is from Mexico, and my first question is, I was reading, everything they've written about you lately, and it's amazing. It's 35 years, and I mean, there's not many groups from the rock era that are still here, and as well as you're doing. It's amazing. I mean, when I was reading the amount of songs, the amount of records you've sold, what is the secret? I mean, it's 35 years after New Millennium, and BeeGees is still here.
I don't think we have it. I don't think there is a secret. No. I just
well, there is, but I'm keeping it.
Yes.
No wonder I never
knew. It's really
knew.
corny, but we love music, and that's really it. There isn't any real trick to it. We've always loved music, and we'll go on presenting music no matter how old we get. So at this age is a good age for us. We're in our prime, as we like to put it.
We see ourselves like actors, like Richard Dreyfuss or Michael Caine. They just
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, got the word right out of my gusset. It's something that we just we keep going. We think we like to get better as we get further down the line. We just want to keep going.
We're learning all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great, but if we're really honest...
So you don't believe us then?
No, okay. Obviously, there's a thousand people who adore music.
Yes.
But there's a special blend. That's why...
Desperation.
Desperation. Need... That's why so many people have recorded and done remakes of your songs and have, extraordinary hits with your music. I mean, there's something special in the BeeGees that nobody else has. The lyrics, the way you write, the way you... I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we think you're right, but we couldn't tell you what that is. No, it's true. We think you're right because it's three brothers, and we have certain insights with regard to our music that other people don't have with regard to our music. It's just, you can't pick what it is, but we sort of know what it is. And we like to come up with ideas that move us. If the idea moves us, we know we're going somewhere with it. And we don't work to actually make other people happy. We work to make ourselves happy.
This is where I came in. I mean, the title is very self-descriptive. But it's so refreshing. It's so new, but it's yet so you. So back to the roots. What does this album represent?
I think this album does. It represents a cycle of decades of all the music that we've heard or been influenced by and brought up on. And now it's all in decades, and it's all been put together on an album. And the thing about doing this album is that we also recorded it like we did during that time of the late 60s and so forth in England. And it was very acoustic. It was very natural sounding and not overproduced and a lot of things happening.
Yeah, but we also cut songs individually.
Yeah, I know, right? Each one went off.
Yeah.
I wrote like 4
we like to approach,
tell me the process. How did you decide, okay, this is what we're going to do, guys?
having made as many albums as we've made, we needed that. How do we go into a new album? We can't just do the same, we can't use the same feelings and the same attitude and even the same room. Let's the three of us get some self-expression. Let's each of us do something individually and then do 4 songs together. And that will give us a refreshing, a new sort of feeling. So you're always looking for that every album.
You see, the Volkswagen van you had at the beginning, and then you see the portrait of your mom, and it's like all going back to the roots. How important is simplicity? How important
Very important.
It's very important. Less is sometimes a lot more. So it's, we've worked with different people over the years, even different producers on the last album. We had 6 different producers. So this one, we know that we've learned a lot. And we're being producers ourselves.
That's the nice thing. We produced this album.
Yeah, and we knew what we wanted. We knew what because we already knew what we were doing.
We were getting weary of other people telling us what they wanted.
Yeah. So, and we really knew all the time. We just needed reassuring. And making this album was part of that adventure too. So it showed in each other's individual work. So that's why it's so diverse, because when we came together, not one of us knew what the other ones were doing.
But also our fans get a feel now for each brother. They get a feel for what each brother does and the character of each brother, personality. Yeah. And we've never done that before. So it sort of worked in different ways.
So you sat down, you had, I don't know, over 25, 30 songs, whatever.
No.
How do you narrow it down to 14, or how did it happen?
Well, we sort of all sat down and got ideas. A bunch of us actually got a bunch of ideas that Robin took an idea from, or if I would take an idea from.
Just had ideas, yeah.
But then ended up either rewriting them or doing something different. And we just, I think being that left alone for that time, and we didn't have any limit on anything,
No, you're only nobody looking over your shoulder all the time.
And just create, just do what you wanted to do, And we already knew we were doing everything together with all the other stuff, so it was no like we were all running off doing solos.
No, but we were curious. What would each of us do if we had our own way? You know, and it's worked out for us. It's worked out in the way you said. It's everything on the album is different.
Now tell me something.
Okay.
35 years together.
Right.
I almost fell. Thank you.
That's okay, no, that's it.
35 years together. Up and down.
Actually, yeah.
Non-speaking terms during the Odessa album. I mean,
right, that's true.
How do you manage to keep on flowing, respecting each other's individuality, and still be a whole?
You see, that's such an hard question to answer.
I have no idea.
Because we're brothers.
There's no technical kind of answer or cut and dry answer to that, except that we just enjoy what we do. We just have fun, and some things are more fun than others, and if it's not fun, we don't do it, we'll do something else. And the whole key to what we do is to really enjoy or get off on what we're doing at that particular moment.
We've learned not to bicker anymore. We don't argue with each other anymore.
We love doing what we love to do.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best and worst aspect of each one of you? Like, when Barry does this, it drives me nuts.
No, there's none of that. There's
No,
we're not going there.
But there really isn't any of that. It's just that we don't get personal about each other anymore. It's not when we're writing, it's not a personal thing.
We feel personal, but we don't.
Yeah.
You know, we don't feel those ways. We don't think about what's bad or good about each other.
Yeah, those personal things don't come into our music and the way we write. It's just not. We do have separate personal lives. That we do have. But when we're writing and working together, it's about having fun, it's about enjoying, getting a buzz going. And
there's no such thing as negativity. We just leave that out.
Yeah, we've been asked before, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to us? And we thought, well, who wants to hear that?
Piano.
And we've got to recycle it. You know,
the worst thing that happened was a piano falling on us. That was
Brooklyn. Second floor.
It did?
Yeah, grand piano.
It never made the papers.
It changed us forever.
Yeah, trapped for 5 days under a piano. It was terrible.
Grand piano.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the fire brigade.
No, you don't believe us.
See? The fire brigade
We tell you our worst moment and no one believes
We
us.
got the fire brigade, but they said...
That's why we never answer
we
that
rang the fire brigade and they said...
Get them out of there. Get them out.
He said, we ran the fire brigade. They said, is there a fire? And we said, no, we're not coming, they said.
So there was another day.
So we did a very clever thing. We set fire to the building and the fire brigade came. But then got us from under the piano.
Yeah.
No, it was horrendous.
There you have it.
Horrendous
The best moment.
We've all changed a lot.
With the fire engine turning up.
We're all about a foot shorter than we used to be.
Yes, but other than that, we've learned
probably
to
the
live with
worst moment was obviously losing our brother Andy.
Yeah.
That was probably the low that we've had. And
But people ask us that. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing?
That obviously is the worst thing.
Are you at peace with that?
I don't think we'll ever be at peace with that. He was our kid brother. I mean, to lose your kid brother is a devastating thing, and especially for our parents. So we had to watch our parents suffering in a way that we couldn't understand, and that is to lose your youngest son, the youngest child. It's pretty intense.
But on the other side too, we've come to believe that he's with us. You know, so we know and Dad's with him now, so we know he's looked after, and we believe that he's always with us. So it's true or not, it's a nice way to believe.
Yeah, you grow a lot inside from it.
And life's too short, you know, it can be taken away like that.
Yeah.
So it puts different values on things.
Like the grand piano.
Yeah, like the grand piano.
How personal is this album?
Very.
Yeah.
All personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Give me a story.
You want to go
more about the
story-
sex change?
The songs don't come from stories. Songs come from feelings.
Emotions.
And places and people. For us to tell you a story about any one of those songs wouldn't be there. It would be increments of relationships, increments of situations.
And I think also being writers is a bit like being an actor. You take on a role and you write about it. And I think other people can actually relate to this when they hear the song. And they automatically think you might have experienced that emotion that you're singing about. But I think that's the capacity of the writer, being able to create a situation that the listener can relate to. And that is what we do. And it's the same as a writer like Charles Dickens writing books that people can relate to. That is something that you do and have a knack of doing, and we're able to do. And like that, dropping things.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, it's I don't write.
No,
but if I did, I guess it all comes from the heart.
Yeah. That's right.
It comes from personal.
You wouldn't be able to give someone a story. You just be able to, all you can say is, well, it just comes from there, and there's no explanation for it.
One thing is for certain,
but it is personal.
The situations that we do write about do happen to people, and they are real.
The piano.
The piano.
The piano. The piano. The Extra Mile.
Saved by its legs.
What was that inspired of?
The Extra Mile.
The extra mile was
we were running out of gas, wasn't it?
No, the extra mile was written for the Olympic Games.
Yes.
Because we thought we were going to do the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And then when we found out we weren't doing the Olympic Games, we thought, well, let's keep the song.
Because they said we couldn't run.
Because we couldn't
They
run.
wouldn't let us run
And you
it.
can't sing and run at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. They said
You've
they
always gone the extra mile.
Yeah, there's also a bit of a moral thing there too. Yeah, we've always gone that extra mile in everything we've done.
Yeah, see, it's what you read into it.
You've been up all night.
You've been counting all night.
It's
You have been up all
the
night.
amount of remakes.
That's surprising to us too.
Yeah, you've written things for Diane Warwick, which is, you know, Heartbreaker is one of my favorite songs. And Diana Ross and
Michael Jackson. Who did you say?
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand, Kenny Rogers,
Dolly.
Ross.
Yeah.
Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
And all these remakes from Rod Stewart to NSYNC to Take That. I mean,
we're just as amazed. We're just as amazed by it. But you know what? It keeps us going too. It keeps us alive, keeps us vibrant. When we see that our material is being used in a very contemporary way, it might be 20 years old. But when we see people using it and treating it in a modernistic way, it really tells us an awful lot about what we've done.
Why the generational appeal, the multi-generational appeal is amazing.
I think a lot of the reasons is because the songs that we've always written have always appealed to young people. We've never written for older people. We've always written for young people. So, from the time we were teenagers ourselves. So that is what we do, and our songs automatically do have an appeal to the young generation.
I think we got stung by the Beatles when we were teenagers, you know. And if you listen to the early Beatles stuff, they were really written for children. You know, Hello Goodbye and Yellow Submarine were basically children's songs. They had legitimate social meanings to them, but they were really children's songs.
Nursery rhyme type.
Yeah. And so we were bitten by that at the same time. We thought the only way to go is to be completely imaginative and to think in terms of what a child might think when the child hears your song, and not always older people.
Yeah.
And it still seems to ring true today. People love things that set their imaginations off. You know?
Well, obviously you have a very loyal fan base. I mean, I'm 33. I grew up with...
right. That's okay. That's soundtrack.
The movie, right?
right.
Yeah.
Right. And, but I mean, I just, outside, the valet guy, he's like 18, and, oh, you're going to go interview the Bee-Gees. I mean, there's no generational gap when it comes to
it doesn't seem to be. There's probably one there, but with the, you know...
Yeah, we left him outside too.
There is probably one we don't talk about.
I wonder, I was thinking this morning at the hotel, do you authorize all the remakes?
No, we have no control over that.
No, but usually out of respect, they send it to us before they release them to get it.
Just as they release it.
Just one day before the release, so we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, there must be one that you said, God, they destroyed this song.
You know,
how could they?
As writers.
Please.
Oh, Robbie Williams, I started a joke.
Yeah. That was bad.
I think that was pretty willful. I mean, there was somebody willfully trying to destroy one of our songs. And there's no way he can ever say, I just wanted to do a different version, because he didn't do any version at all. So that's the only criticism we have of any covers of our songs. And we don't even know Robbie. He's probably a lovely guy and sort of watches television all the time.
Your favorite that it was like,
well, that's a particular.
Oh, well, no. Our favorite would still be Broken Heart by
Al Green. Yeah, then we were blown away when Elvis did words. You know, so
we're always flattered by who's doing the song.
Yeah, I mean, as writers, you have to. People have done our songs out of respect, not to take the mick. You know, it's been done out of respect. So you can't really turn around and say, oh, you can't release that because it's not a good version or something. You know,
we're always flattered that anyone does them.
We are. We're flattered tremendously. And as writers, I think anybody in our position would be blown away with what's happening with their songs. The older songs reliving the success they had before. Yeah. 20 years later, that's an amazing thing.
Islands in the Stream became Ghetto Superstar. And we just thought, well, what's that all about?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You can't. You can't. No, we liked it.
Yeah. What's your kids say? I mean...
What do our kids say?
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way. Yeah. Can I borrow the keys to the car?
Give us some money.
What do they think about their music? I mean...
I think they're proud of their parents. I think they're proud of their fathers. I think that's true.
Yeah. See them,
Yeah, but they perceive us as mum and dad, and does this and dad does that. They don't really see us as other people see us, so it's hard to them.
We're still parents, so it's not. You can't be a BG at home. It doesn't work.
No,
I know.
He gets hit with a John Travolta picture.
What do you think of the music today? Because before groups, artists were so complete like you guys. You produce, you write, you compose, you sing, multi-talented. I mean, these days in the industry, it's like a little bit of, electronic technology, and there you go, bam, she can sing.
Well, no, it's interesting. You should even be interested in all of that stuff because it fascinates us because we didn't come from a period where you created a group. Groups were created by the record company or by someone else. Yeah.
Hey? Well, the Monkeys later on.
Apart from the Monkeys. No, we never saw that before. So you had to be a group that grew up being a group from children, And today now it's that they gather people they like. It's like putting a basketball team together, We need an Oriental girl. We need a black guy. So you see a lot of that. And it comes from that American political correctness. We need something to appeal to everybody. So let's put a group together with all different nationalities.
It's marketing, yeah.
It's really marketing now. And you have to, wish all these kids luck because some of them will become really famous. But the ones that don't are the ones that concern us. Because they get exploited and they lose they don't get paid.
Well, not what the record companies and everybody else gets paid.
Talking about kids, Sacred Trust, which is this album, it was written for the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they loved it.
They loved it.
Their management, unfortunately...
their management nixed it for obviously their own publishing reasons,
They didn't write it, so...
Yeah. Because if you wrote the song, you make money on the publishing.
So that's one of the things today. Most kids are told what to record and not...
There's that too.
They can't have it in their heart to do a song that they really love and they bring it to the board. If the people involved have nothing to do with the song, they can't record it. So...
It's a big business. And
it was such a great song that we said, no, we're doing it. So
you left it in the album.
But the band loved the song, which was a bit distressing for us because you can have an artist love the song and not be allowed to record it.
Well, you've been influenced. You were talking about culture. I mean, you were born in England. You spent a few years
we've lived in three cultures.
In the United States. Asian influences, American English, Latin. I hear Latin.
Yes. Yes. Well, we grew up in three cultures. We grew up in England. We grew up in Australia for at least 9 years. I think in Australia, and so that was the whole Asian influence. We traveled.
Squeak back there.
I like my squeak. We did an enormous amount of traveling as children. Enormous amount of traveling. We were in the pyramids. We were in India. So those experiences really affected us. In a creative way. Children don't get to see those places as children. Very few.
Captain's Cabin.
Yes. One home.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah. As I say, once again, as writers, you're flattered when people want to do your songs, particularly.
That is a nice record.
And but I do feel there's a Latin influence in your music.
There certainly is.
Yeah, in different songs there is. Yes.
Yeah. For instance, Loose Talk Cost Lives is extremely Latin on this album. Yeah. And I'd love to hear Julio do it. I'd love to hear someone do it that's...
Julio Iglesias?
Yeah. Because I wrote it with him in mind.
Really?
Yeah.
See, you don't tell me those stories.
You didn't ask.
No, we've written loads of songs with Julio in mind. It's just Julio doesn't know about it.
You wrote a song with Julio in mind?
Yeah, of course. Well, I know Julio quite well, so he sort of rubbed off on me at some point.
Beg your pardon?
I wouldn't make that comment.
See, I didn't know that.
We're all friends and neighbours.
I know that.
Yeah.
Now, in this first single, you were talking about the Beatles. There is part of the Beatles in that
Yes,
song.
of course there is. Yeah. Well, the Beatles weren't just a group. Yeah.
I mean, the Beatles are tremendous. There's no doubt about it. The Beatles are a tremendous influence in our music and have been in most of our lives. They were the first group that actually influenced, because they were a group writing their own songs and innovative and experimental, and that really inspired us. So they had a real big impact when we were teenagers on the music that we did. So there's absolutely no doubt about it.
And the guitar?
Well, there's Lennon's guitar on it, which I used, which is the Gibson Monarch, which is one of his older ones I got for my 21st birthday. So that's...
I heard the story. He dozed off and you just sort of took the guitar off.
Sort of.
But quietly sort of sneaked out.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It was a John Lennon guitar.
Yes, it was one of the used on the If I Fell days and the acoustic ballad like This Boy and all that sort of stuff. Like the Hard Day's Night period.
This is a very, very difficult question, I think.
Uh-oh.
Because, as you said, it's like picking out a baby out of grape. Who's your favorite? But if you had to pick one song out of 35 years, I know this is...
Well, we all have our favourites. There's no question about that.
We can't just narrow it down to one, though. Very hard.
One.
So hard. A lot of songs that we like weren't actually singles. Some of our favourite songs are on albums that no one's really listened to, or don't remember. I mean, I guess I love to love somebody. I think Robin probably loves I Started a Joke because it came from his heart. So we all have the songs that come from our heart.
I love My Old Man's
The songs that we did together, I feel like Too Much Heaven.
Too Much Heaven's great song.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah. You love it?
Too much heaven.
You see, also some of the songs, the sessions, how they were born and how they were done, how they finished also affects how you feel about it. So each one has its own story. So there's so many.
I like other songs that we wrote for other people, like Woman in Love, Barbara Streisand, and Heartbreaker.
See, there's not just one.
So there's
Why did you have to be a...
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreak.
I think she was trying to cue us there for something.
Yeah.
Went down like a ton of bricks, didn't it?
So tell me something.
Tell me a tale.
Tell me a tale. Tell me a story. Just I mean, to finish up, this is very impressive deja vu Technicolor coat. I mean,
Technicolor dream.
Technicolor dream.
Deja vu's Technicolor coat.
Technicolor trench coat.
That was what was that? The
Technicolor dream coat.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't forget.
And,
but we digress.
But each one is like very representative, like of a certain period of time in music.
Yeah.
That was the whole idea.
Where would you position like each?
Well, I think Technicolor Dreams is definitely the 1930s. Noel Coward and old music hall of those days.
Yes.
And how would you?
I think Morris reminds me of the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Walking on air.
Got to really oil these chairs. That was more of a summary thing. I wanted
this is where I came in. There's no question that Beatles.
I think She Keeps On Coming is in a way. It's the 60s.
I Drive My Car.
Yeah. Which I love.
Wedding Day is representative of early BeeGees.
Mm-hmm.
They already used that song, right?
And some TV thing.
Yeah, Providence.
So each one has its own sort of sound, and the way it was recorded was a bit different than from the other times. But mostly what we did here was really record more or less what we used to do when we were in the late 60s. And keep it simple and, just had fun doing it and not too many electronic things going on,
Okay, I can't leave without two questions. One is, obviously, this question makes you sick. Saturday Night Fever, but...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make us sick. I don't know where you got that from. No, it doesn't make us sick. We're very proud of Fever, but go on.
I think what it is that we've been asked about it so many times. We don't know how to answer the question anymore.
Do you like the music?
But ask the question.
Love the music.
They have a life of their own.
That was a tough question.
Very proud of this song.
That's an easy question. We love the music. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's living in that syndrome is difficult, because people tend to not want to forget what you did. And so it's sort of, it can blur everything else you're doing. And so that's the only reason that we would go, oh.
It really has a life of its own now.
Well, when you have a new album out, you sort of want to focus on that. And so every artist feels the same way. Doesn't matter what success has been behind you.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So, touring.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to Mexico? Do you plan a tour?
Well, if we literally do a world tour, it will be a world tour if we do a tour. Instead of doing it half-heartedly or one night here and there, it'll be a full thrust. And of course Mexico will be involved in that.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, no question. A lot of people in Mexico.
Indeed there are.
Yeah, they're right there.
Hi, a lot of people there in Mexico.
You in particular.
You there, sitting there, scratching your ball. I mean, how dare you? How dare you?
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, love.
Thank you, love.
Thank you very much.
And we really hope to see you soon in Mexico.
Thank you. Look forward to that.
Y viva los BeeGees.
Ooh.
Viva los BeeGees. Do you speak Spanish?
Not now.
I mean,
Viva la BeeGees.
Viva los BeeGees.
You love BG.
No entiende.
No entiende.
Or does anyone see my BG, which I think is loosely translation.
Where is my Oscar?
Nosotros seguimos aquí en el especial. Regresamos con los BeeGees.